Our last speaker is Dr. Amineh Ghorbani from the Technical University of Delft. Give her a round of applause.
So good afternoon. I know that you're very tired and waiting for me to finish, so I'll promise to be as short as I can. And is my slide? Yeah. Okay. So by the end of this short presentation, what I want you to hopefully take away is the link between piggy banks, golf courses, and renewable energy. So I hope you at least get this message across with you. So the social life of businesses, piggy banks, golf courses, and CO2 emissions. Luckily, I'm building on Arthur's presentation because he was a former PhD student of mine. So I don't need to explain that, but this is our proposition. Urban commons and, well, commons in general create social capital, and social capital makes society resilient towards future uncertainties and hazards. And a very brilliant example of this is research done in the UK. And those communities that actually had existing community collective action were actually more resilient towards the crisis, the COVID crisis and the lockdowns. So if there was an existing community spirit, they were more resilient, they could take care of the elderly, did the grocery for them, for example, and that community was just more resilient. So this is a past example, but we are facing climate change hazards by the day. I mean, they're increasing like crazy. And so having resilient communities is something that we really need. And so urban commons and collective action is not about the economic benefits, yes it is, and the social benefits, but it eventually is about creating resilience towards climate change. And you can see that after a flood, if the community has this social spirit, they can help each other out and also prepare for the flood because they're just more connected and have this social connection. How is my slide cut? But it's okay. So how is social capital created? Arthur already explained this in detail, but basically, urban commons, if you are part of an urban commons or a collective action, a shared restaurant, shared community, then you feel more included in the society. And when you feel included, you do voluntary work, there's more reciprocity, and you just try to be nice because you feel that you belong to this family or the community. And sorry that there's so between this one and that one, there should be a trust. And this voluntary work and reciprocity increases trust, which basically creates community spirit, which is the social resilience we're looking for. But that is already being said. What I am personally researching on, because I've been looking at people, their behavior, how they can be more successful in collective action over the years, past, less than 15 years. But what I am exploring now is that social capital is not only present among people, businesses can also benefit from this social capital. And what do I mean? So sorry for I don't know what happened to my slides. They're a mess now, but I didn't make it. Okay, so I want to explain a case to you. It's a case of industrial community energy systems, like the ones that we have in neighborhoods. But it's actually, we wanted to see, again, with another PhD student of mine, whether it's actually feasible between businesses. So we had a case study in a huge industrial park called Arak. It's really, really big. There are 7 clusters in this industrial park. And the smallest one has 30 companies, and the biggest one has 400 companies. So you can just imagine, the scope. And they're very diverse, so huge companies, industries, aluminum smelter, for example, food, part making, everything. So you could just basically find any industry in that area. We interviewed and surveyed 209 CEOs on their willingness to have this community energy system, just like you would have in neighborhoods with people, like Thomas was talking about. And we wanted to see if this collective action and social cohesion would actually also exist between companies in an industrial cluster. and whether they would be willing to join and build and initiate a community energy system for various reasons, which I don't have time to go through now. And one of the most interesting parts of this result was that the opinion was extremely polarized. You didn't have people who were in doubt. They were either completely against it, there's no way I'm going to work with other people on having a collective action community energy. I mean, I don't even trust them. And there were people who were super enthusiastic, and they were saying, yeah, let's do it now. What do we have? Where do we start? We want to have this community energy. We're suffering from energy crisis. We have a lot of brownouts, and we're sure that this is going to work. So there was like this really polarized opinion, and therefore we had workshops and a lot of field observation just to see what's going on, and why is it that the opinion is so polarized. So when we dug deeply into this, we saw that those companies, those industries which had existing social relationship with each other, the CEOs, so either they were part of a golf club, or actually, so the most interesting one was that they had their own small banks, so that if one company was in a crisis for whatever reason, they would actually borrow from that shared community bank among themselves. And these piggy banks and the golf clubs and even religious ceremonies that they were organizing together were actually the essential part for them to be willing to join a community energy system and initiate it. So that was a very interesting finding for us, because we felt that, we can learn from people. Companies can learn from people, and we can also have this collective action and social resilience, if you want to call it, among companies as well. So that being said, it's a big idea. So it's like, we're learning from flock of birds to see how human beings do collective action. So there's a long distance, but it's about climate change. Before, climate change was centralized, and it was, state leadership. So the United Nations and the EU telling the countries to impose policies, and the governments would have local policies involved. So it was this hierarchical top-down state leadership. Then we led into polycentric climate governance, which is really nice, because we also involve non-state actors such as communities, companies, NGOs, etc. So you're already far ahead, but this is how it looks. It's a huge polycentric environment and very chaotic. And what I propose, and I'm doing for my research, is to create polycentric climate governance with international cooperative initiatives, which are basically communities of companies working together on a shared objective of achieving their climate targets. So I think I was short enough. Thank you.